So these are according to days. Okay, so I'll start with the day 1, day 2. But before moving on to the actual topics, I'll start with the frequently asked questions which people generally ask me before proceeding to the course. Okay, so I'll start with all of these. So if even you have any doubt, you can ask me. You can send a message. Okay, then I'll also discuss that question in the class. Okay, so what will be the course duration? The course duration will be 25 to 30 lectures I'll take. It means 1 to 1.5 months. It will take to complete the whole course. What will be covered? I'll start with the REST-based testing. Okay, and in the SOAPUI, I hope you all know, in the SOAPUI we have many protocols, many jargons we'll use, and I'll discuss each and every topic in very detail. Okay, so I'll start with a very common and a very easy part, and so I'll proceed even to the framework also. I'll start with the manual testing, and then I'll cover automation, then I'll move on to the data-driven framework also. So framework is a very important thing. Okay. Next is it necessary to learn Groovy? The answer is yes. We do need to learn Groovy for automation testing. As automation means, as there are two types of testing, manual and automation, and if we want to automate our web service, we do need to learn Groovy. Okay, and don't get panic, as I hope Groovy is not the part of anybody. I don't think so any one of you know Groovy, and if you know, then it's good. But I'll start with a very basic topics of Groovy. Okay, I'll also teach you Groovy. That's why I'm discussing all these questions, because when I talk about these terms, Groovy, SOAP, REST, then many people get confused if they know Groovy, if they don't know Groovy. That's why I start with these questions. Next is, will we cover project? Will we work on project? Yes, I'll work on the project. I'll show you how to make the reports, how to automate the test. I'll show you how to see there are various kind of reports. We'll discuss about each and every kind of report, how to generate and all. Okay. Next is, will we cover SOAP? As I said, many jargons are there within SOAPUI only, and SOAP is one of them. And we'll not cover SOAP. I'll not work on SOAP. I'll work on REST. What is SOAP? What is REST? If you don't know, then don't get panic. Again, I'm saying I'll explain each and everything in our class. Okay, so I'll not work on SOAP. And yes, if any one of you, like maybe there are few person who are there for SOAPUI tutorials, for SOAPUI classes, who have project within SOAP. I don't know if anybody have. And if your project is actually worked on the SOAP, then you can contact me after class. I'll take separate session for SOAP. Okay, but actually I'll work on REST. And okay, versions. Okay, we have two versions for our SOAPUI, free version and the paid version. And I'll start with the free version, and then I'll move on to the paid version also. I'll show you how to work on paid, how to generate reports, how to work, how to build test, how to work on retail application in paid version also. Okay, and yes, one of you was asking me this question: will we get link to recorded session every day? And the answer is yes. I do record each and every session every day. Okay, and I'll give you the batch ID with which you can listen all the recordings. Okay, and can we rejoin the live session after completing the current one if it is felt that preparation is yes? This question was also one of you asking me, and the answer is yes. You can rejoin the meeting if you think you need. As I said, recorded sessions are there. You can go through the recordings. Even then, if you feel it is not complete, you are not getting the thing, you can contact me. I'll give you my mail ID. I'll give you my Skype ID. And even then, if you want to rejoin the session, you can. And one more question was here, like, okay, for resumes, yes, we will help you. You can contact us. As I said, you can contact me, my mail ID, my Skype ID. You can contact Ashish. He will also help you to make the resume. But one more very, very important thing. Learn SOAPUI with a complete dedication. Only then you can learn. Okay. It is the best thing if you mm, it is the best thing if you go through the recorded sessions every day. If you don't miss any one of the lectures, only then. Uh, yes, we will help you to make the resume. We will help you to learn each and everything related to SOAPUI. And one more very important thing, as I was saying, don't miss any of the lecture. Okay, I'll take 1 hour to 1.5 hours lecture regularly, so don't miss any one of the lecture, please. Okay, so many other questions. See, these are again the questions of which people ask me. What is XAMPP? How web services are related? But I'll not discuss all these topics. We'll discuss these topics when we will reach at that level. Okay, these are the questions which people have in their mind, so that I clear all. And even then, if you have any question, you can message me. Okay, then I'll surely try to solve your problem, to solve your query if you have anyone. Okay, so these are the questions. So let's move on to the topics. As here you can see, day 1, day 2, I do prepare a complete sheet of 25 to 30 to 35 days, and I'll try to complete the course. I hope you all are fine. If I say it will take 25 to 30 hours, means 1 to 1.5 months. All are fine? Yes, Vasantha. Any question? Okay. Vasantha is saying he joined late. Okay, no issues. As I said, I do record each and every session. So I'll give you the batch ID for this, and then you can listen. You can, is soap, okay, one question. Is soap and SOAPUI is different? Okay, we'll discuss this topic in the last. Vasantha is asking me this question. Is soap and SOAPUI is different? Okay, I'll discuss about this topic in the last. Okay, so let's move on to the topic. I'll start with this. What is a web service? Okay, before moving on to SOAPUI, REST, I'll not discuss about these things, but I'll start with a web service. Let's see. Yes, it's what is a web service? Web service is what? What do you think? Web service is what? Change in timing. Okay. Let me one more question. Okay. We'll discuss about. You can ask me the question. I'll take 15 minutes after class, and then you can ask me any one of the questions. So I'll start with the topics. Okay. Senthil was saying the timings, about timings, but I'll discuss about this thing after class. Okay. So let me cover this topic now. Yes, what is a web service? Web service is what? Firstly, I'll discuss, as I said, I'll discuss about a very basic thing, then I'll move on to the very important and very interesting thing, and quite difficult also, I'll say. So I'll start with web service, and firstly I'll start with what is a web service in the layman terms. So I'll give you the example for this before its definition. Okay, let's say this is my one application and this is my second application. Okay, and say if this application is based on Java, or I'll say Android based application, or this application is based on Perl. Perl is a separate language. Okay, and the application is based on a different this device. This is my first electronic device and this is my second electronics device. Both are based on different languages, different programming languages, and say if both wants to communicate, it wants to send its data to Java. Perl-based application wants to send its data to Java-based application, and Java wants to send its data to Perl-based application. So how these both can communicate? Like how is possible? This is for device 1 and this is for device 2. So how both can communicate? This is in a layman term, I'll say if two different electronic devices wants to communicate, wants to share its data between each other, this is what? This is a kind of a web service. Okay, so these are about electronic devices. Say if I'll say, say if I'll say in a different words, if I say this is your browser on which you are browsing and this is the server, and you want to chat, you want to make communication with a different, say suppose you are working on your browser and you are browsing you send a request to server as if you are using your Facebook account and you want to communicate with a person. Okay, you are on a browser, it means you are on a laptop. Say if you are on a PC and you want to make chat with a person who is working, who is actually on its Android device. This is the a possible case, right? So what you are doing, you are sending your request to the server, sending a message through a Facebook account, and server is looking for that person who is working on the Android based device or a mobile application. Say if it's on a mobile. So and Android based the person who is working on Android will send its message to back to server, and browser will get a message, a response back. So this is what this is the first device. Say if this is Windows, this is the server which is based on different operating system, and this is the Android based which is working on Java. So these three are communicating. So what I'll say in the end, mm, I'll say it is actually working like this. Browser is directly communicating with the Android based application directly. Am I right? Browser is directly communicating with the Android based application. So this is what? This is a web service. Okay, so I'll define web service. It is a way to communicate with different languages, with a different applications, or different devices, or in devices I'll cover about PCs, mobiles, and all, which are working, which are actually working on different languages, So this is what? This is a kind of web service. Am I right? Okay, so these are a very, in a layman term I'm saying, as I said, browser is browsing to a server is sending its message to Android, to Android phone, and Android is sending message, its response back to server, and server is sending response to back to browser. Okay, so this is what? This is a web service as a different applications, different devices are communicating. So what I'll say, so in a single word, what I'll say, it is a kind of interoperability. Clear? So in a single word, I'll say what is a web service? Web service is something which makes possible interoperability. Interoperability means what? Two different applications, to different devices which are based on different languages are actually communicating. So interoperability is possible just because of a web service. Okay, so we'll define the web service like this only. So let's say what I'll say to service, if I want to define it in a, say in a scientific definition, scientific words, what I'll say, it is actually a collection of, and yes, I'll share this notepad with you also. Everybody, I'll Yes, so I was saying web services are in this definition is in a layman terms. I'll say web services this, and in some standard I'll say if I want to define web services, what web service is a collection of open standards, and in open standards protocols and architectures are there. Okay, so and these open standards are used for what? It is a collection of open standards used for exchanging, used for mm, used for exchanging the data, or I could say exchanging the data or some links if one wants to exchange, or in a simple words, actually this is data only. If one wants to share its data between different applications like this. So interoperability is a one word, and the second definition is collection of open standards, and we'll discuss about open standards also. Okay, so this is the first topic. What is a web service? Why we use web service? Can you please tell me why do we use web service? I do explain it right now. Why we do need web service actually? Mm, Let's come back to the same example. Why do we need web service? Because we want this communication. That's why. Clear? This is a very simple language which is actually covering each and everything related to web service only. Okay. So XML and JSON. Okay, so these are the open standards. Okay, let's take one more example. The one example which I took was related to your Facebook account. Next, I'll take the example of say a big enterprise. Okay, I'll consider the example for big enterprise, or suppose let's say it's about bank. If I take the example for this, how could I relate it to my web service? As I said, web service is used everywhere. So I hope it's clear how it is related to your Facebook account. It's not only your Facebook account. It is also if you're browsing even anything, it is directly related to a web service. So let us relate it to a big enterprise, how it is related to big enterprise or banking example. Okay, I'll cover that thing now. Yeah. Say if this is my bank as a whole, like this. Within a bank, we have how many interfaces we do have? We have two interfaces. First one is the user interface with which user interact, and what we do call it? We do call it as front end. And what is the second interface with which user don't interact? This is the back end. Or what is the back end for the case of bank? As this is as a whole my bank, safe bank or a big enterprise and all. So how these both are relating to each other? Within a front end, what is actually there? If you all know, interface, user interface is what? With which the user interacts. So I'll say for the front end, say if the front end of any of the bank is made in Java, or let's say on PHP. So these are very simple languages with which we all are comfortable with Java and PHP. These words, I'm here not using Groovy, I'm here not using SOAP or REST. Okay, so say if my front end is based on Java or a PHP and my back end, and the server on my back end, what is the back end in case of a bank or a big enterprise? Say if this is my database. Possible? What is saying mainframe? Okay, just a minute. Database. So my front end is something with which user interact, and my backend for the case of my bank system is my database. See if it is based on the very old processor. This is my front end, this is my backend. Say if my database is based on some database, say if, as Prabodh said, mainframe, or I'll say, okay, let it be mainframe only. Mainframe here doesn't mean I'm using for the case of my database as my mainframe. No, I'm here saying my backend is working on something which is a very different thing from my front end. So don't consider this mainframe like this as my backend is working on mainframe, my front end is working on Windows like this. No, this is something else. I'm here just saying if my backend or my database is working on something which is separate, which is quite different from my front end. So how these both can communicate? So how the communication? See that communication is required. Why? Because my front end should communicate with my backend. This is the reality. Right. But say if my database, which is my backend, is something which is not directly, which can't directly relate with my front end. So how the communication is possible? This is something which is possible just because of my web service. Web service. Clear? So web services here is what? With which my front end is interacting with my back end. So don't consider this mainframe if both said it's mainframe. It could be, it might be, but no. I'm here just saying my front end is something different from my back end. So communication is possible because of web service. Let's say if I'm here using a very new thing, say if MySQL is there or Oracle could be my database, can also these two are my one of my database, might be, maybe, right? But say if I'm using something not which is not as easy to communicate with my front end. So I say that for the communication is possible because of web service. So now, can you please tell me, any one of you, which thing is required? If I consider the example for this, what is the most important thing which one should consider in their mind? If I'm taking the example for my bank or a big enterprise, these two. Hello? Me? Okay, okay. So let me start the recording also. Yes. So how my big enterprise or my bank do need this web service? What is the most important thing? The most important thing is security. Right. If I'm saying about the bank, this is the very easy example so that everybody could understand. Okay, so we do need the security. So let's talk about the security. And one more thing, if I consider example for Facebook, yes, the security is surely required within the Facebook also. But I take this security in my mind just with my bank example because the database is huge. Yes, we do need this security in case of Facebook also. Okay, so the things which I'm going to explain now is related to each and every web service. Okay, so first one is the security, which is required in any one of these web service. What is the second thing which is required? What is the second thing which is required? Anyone? What is the second thing? First one is the security. Second one is the format. So format, how it is related? Format is like some what? Format is something which is related to my pattern, to my format. I'll say these two terms are same. Format, the pattern which one should follow to understand something which is actually going on. So how it is related to Facebook account? Just give me a minute. I'll explain again. So this is my first this is my laptop. This is my Windows working on my laptop, and I'm sending message to my server, and server is looking for the one who is working on its Android-based mobile phone. So this is PC. This is my server. Mm. And this is my Android phone where I'm sending the message. So PC is sending its message to server, server is sending its message to Android, and Android is sending back its response. So this is what? Security is okay, fine. We do need security. Second thing is what? Second thing is there should be a particular format which this PC is following, which this server is following, and which this Android phone is following. Or there is a pattern which all of these three are following. My PC, my server, and my phone. It's Android based mobile phone. Clear? So this is what? So these security and the format could be a very important part of my web service. Okay, so as I said, it's a collection of open standards, right? So what I'll say, for the case of my security, I'll consider some open standards. So let's relate the standards with my security and the format. So for the case of my format, I'll start with the format because it is more easy. Then I'll move on to security. So what is the particular format? So for the case of format or pattern, I'll consider a language, an XML language or a JSON language. So these two are the standards which are used to follow this thing. Clear? And for the sake of my security, which standard I'll use? Here's the thing starts actually, the SOAPUI. SOAP and the REST. So these are the two standards which are used for security, and these are the two standards which are used for the case of my format. These are the two languages actually. Clear? So let's discuss about, okay, and now again I'll say one more thing. There are few people who know XML, who know JSON. There may be people who don't know even XML. So I'll start with a very basic thing so that everybody could understand. Okay, and if you want to know something, something which is not related to my day one, you can ask me, but I'll discuss about thing after class, or we'll discuss it on some other day, like the day which I fixed for that thing. As here you could see, very deep I'll go. Okay, so I'm here now on this topic, XML and JSON. Next is SOAP and REST. So let's start with XML and JSON. So these are for the pattern, for the format which everybody here is what? Each and every device actually. Which as XML is what? It's extensible markup language. Yes, it is also used with I'll write here. DTD. DTD is what? It's document type definition. So I'm here just writing its full form, but we'll discuss about this thing also. So what is XML? Anyone? Any one of you know what is XML? XML is something, a language, which is followed by different devices to communicate. So XML is nothing, it's a very simple language which has its start tag and the end tag. Yes, very easy thing. As I said, these both tags are the user-defined tags. So user-defined tags means what? User means you, who is actually working. So user will decide what will be the name for this tag. Say if I'll consider the, say if I want to write this thing. I want to write Priya SOAPUI. So how could I write it in the format of XML? I'll say this is the name, this is the start tag, and this is the end tag. So start tag is name and end tag is again name, but only with a forward slash. That's it. And say if I want to write this SOAPUI, so how could I write? A start tag and the start tag says the course. End tag will be what? Anyone? End tag will be what for the case of my SOAPUI? What I'll write here? I'll write here directly the course with a forward slash. So this is the way to write XML. Yes, it's Bhargavi was saying the course with a forward slash. This is fine. Clear? So this is something which is my XML, extensible markup language. So this is the language which one is following to communicate. DT is nothing but a document type definition which will consider the whole definition, the whole concept which one is going to follow. Clear? So this is my XML, and yes, very important thing. So how I'm using it within my web service, I'll discuss about this thing after 10 minutes. Okay, give me 10 minutes and so that I could discuss about SOAP, JSON, REST, then I'll discuss about how these are related to my web service. So this is my XML which has start tag, end tag, and it's a user, and the tags are user defined tags. Because these are not predefined tags. And this is for XML. So let's talk about JSON. JSON is what? JSON is something which is, let me write here, JavaScript object. As here I'm going to use it. As here I'm going to use JSON. How I'm going to use JSON? I'm going to use to communicate, to make the communication possible. Am I right? As XML is I'm using, so there is surely a particular format as XML do have. So what will be the format for JSON? It actually works in key value pair. So what is key? What is value? Let's discuss about this thing. Key is something with which I could point my value. It's like this. Okay, so what is the way to write key value pair? Within a curly braces, I'll write here key, KEY, and the value corresponding to that key. Here we don't have any start tag, we don't have any end tag. Just this is the format to write a key value pair. So if I want to write this Priya and SOAPUI, how could I write? If I want to write Priya and SOAPUI, how could I write? It is within a curly braces. I'll write here. Then what will be the key? As in the case of my XML, I was taking the name as my key, start tag. As I said here, we don't have any end tag, just a value. The value is Priya. So the value related to my name key is Priya. Clear? And the second thing is what? The course. So what will be the value for the course as my key? SOAPUI. Clear? So this is my key name and this is my value Priya. This is my key course and this is my value SOAPUI. Clear? So one thing which is left. Separate. How could we separate these two values, these two key value pairs like this with a comma? Is this clear? So this is the way to write the same thing in the JSON thing which I was writing over here. I hope it's clear now. What is XML? What is JSON? Okay, let's discuss about the next standards. It's soap and rest. So what is soap? What is rest? We'll discuss about these two terms now. So what is soap? I'll firstly write here the full form, then I'll go in detail for soap. Soap is something which is simple. Uh, just a minute. Soap is my okay. I was thinking of defining it first. Okay, let me firstly write here the definition. Simple object access protocol. Protocol. And now I'll define. Okay, I'll come to this its full form, but let's define it first. I should define it first. SOAP is a messaging protocol. Messaging protocol means what? Messaging protocol is something which is used, which will help to communicate like this. As we were doing for the case of my Facebook account, for the case of my banking example, for a big enterprise, it's like this only. So this is my messaging protocol. And if I say what its full form, it's simple object access notation, access protocol. So this is my protocol. Protocol is, okay, firstly let's, just give me a minute. I'll firstly define the protocol, then I'll come to show. Protocol is what? Protocol is a set of rules which one should follow. Set of rules or a body structure is given in the case of my protocol. So how could I say what is SOAP? SOAP is nothing but my set of rules which is used for the messaging purpose, which is a very, very important thing. Clear? So this is something which is required for the case of my, if I want to do message, if I want to communicate, if I want this communication like this. Clear? So let's relate it. So what is present within SOAP? So what is the messaging protocol? Messaging protocol is something which is used for communication. One thing. Second thing is what? It is actually used with a format. If you remember, as I said, pattern and format is there. Remember this thing, XML, JSON, and for the case of security, for the sake of protocol standards, these are my SOAP and REST. So let us relate SOAP and REST with my XML and JSON. SOAP is my messaging protocol and it actually works with XML. XML. So XML contains what? XML is a tag-based language, right? So how tags are related to my SOAP? Anyone? So it is like this. This is my SOAP envelope. This is my start tag, which are actually defined by SOAPUI as a smartware, which whose product is SOAPUI only. Smartware is the company. Okay, so SOAP envelope is the start tag and SOAP envelope with a forward slash is my end tag. So what is present within SOAP envelope and SOAP envelope start tag and SOAP envelope end tag? If I want this, let us relate it with this. This is my SOAP envelope. Here. This is my SOAP envelope. What is present within my SOAP envelope? There is a SOAP header and there is a SOAP body. This is my SOAP body and this is my SOAP. Oh, I'm sorry. This is my SOAP header. SOAP header and this is my SOAP body. So what is present within SOAP header and SOAP body? As I explained, within SOAP envelope, header and body is present. What is present within SOAP header and SOAP body? Here I'll write. Within SOAP envelope, we do have this SOAP header and we do have SOAP header and tag also with a backslash, with a forward slash. And after this, what's present? We do have SOAP body, start tag and the SOAP body end tag. with a forward slash. Soap body. So what is present within soap header and soap body? Yeah. Within soap envelope, these both are present. So what is present within header and body? What is present? Again, some set of tags. Some tags are there. So these tags will be like status, and we'll discuss about everything. We'll discuss about each and everything. But here I'm just introducing with these terms. And what is present within my body? So body, it is like safe ID. Surely it will come within the start tag and the end tag. So is this clear? This is all about SOAP, how it works with XML. And SOAP is nothing but a messaging protocol, and its full form is simple object access notation, and it actually works like this. So SOAP will help me to send a message with which format the message will be sent with in the format of XML. Is this clear? This is all about SOAP. These are just, I'm just introducing, just giving the introduction. In detail, we'll also go. Let's talk about the JSON. REST with JSON actually, that's why I said JSON. So REST is something, I'll firstly discuss about REST. REST is something which is representational state transfer. So this is what? Is this my protocol also again as SOAP? No, this is not my protocol. This is my architecture. So let's see what is the architecture. Architecture is what? Architecture is something which will give me the body in which work will flow. Same case for the case of my protocols. Clear? So these are nothing. REST is nothing but the architecture, and it is the building block for my transfer, for my message. As I said, SOAP is my messaging protocol. REST is nothing. REST is my architecture, which will act as its building block to send a message. Clear? So architecture is something which is my body, or I'll say again the set of rules actually, which it will follow to send a message. So it is REST is representation state transfer, and this is my architecture, not my protocol. And let's see how it works. As I was saying, it works with JSON. So SOAP works with XML, REST works with JSON. So can you please tell me how JSON works? Anyone? Same thing if I want to send. For my this thing, for my JSON with the help of my REST. So how could I send this thing? I'll write here status, key value pairs, right? Status will be my key. Sender is saying it's key value pair, right? Status will be my key, and what will be the value? Able to log in or not able to log in, like this. It will be like this, not able to log in. Not able to log in or logged in, like this only. So REST with JSON works like this. These all are the jargons which I'll cover in my whole complete course. Here. So this is all about the introduction for my terms which I'll use. So let us relate these all with my web service. So how XML and JSON works? XML works like this, start tag, and JSON works like this. So let us relate these four with each other, and then relate these all of four with my web service. Just give me a minute. I'll show you one example, then it will be easy for you to understand. Here it is. Okay, this is what? This is my request This is my request which one is sending. So this is the example for my Make My Trip. I hope you all know what is Make My Trip, how it works. Let me show you. It will help you a lot. Because Make My Trip is actually a web service which will help you to understand what we are going to do. Say if you are writing this is the official website for your makemytrip.com. Yes. So how Make My Trip actually works? You will write here from which city you want to travel. Say if I want to travel from Delhi to Mumbai on the state and one passenger economy. If I select this search button, so it will do what? It will search for the flights which are there for the case of my. Actually, I can't see if it is. Let me do one thing. Yes, it is loading. Right. No flight found. Okay. On the date which I select, there is no flight. And say if I want on 11th, on 11th I want to go one person economy and then search. It will give me, okay, it is giving me the result like this. So these are the possibilities. So and yes, one more thing. One client from my last batch having the same site for their same web service like this only which works. One have this project. So we'll cover a REST-based retail application. I'll discuss about my application after 2 to 3 days. But this is one of my web service on which we could work. If I want to see how it works, actually it works on my XML plus SOAP or JSON plus REST, and from there these are coming. These all are coming from here only. Clear? So the thing which I was explaining here, it is request trip. What I'll mention here the city from where I want to travel and to where I want to travel. Source city, destination city, and it will come back like this. So if I open, as I saved it, can you see the document type is my XML, not the text document. This is my XML document. As if I'll open it, let's say if I directly open it, this is the XML format. I do save it in the format of XML, and just a minute, I'll open it in one of the browser. Open with your, it is giving me only Microsoft Edge. Okay. If it is open, it will open like this. So this is what? This is my whole XML format. Can you see? It works like this only. This is for request. Say if I want to see how response works, response will be like this only, which will come back from the server. So can you please, any one of you, can you please tell me how Make My Trip is actually related to my web service, as I do explain each and everything related to my web service. Anyone? Only then I'll start next. Any one of you? Okay. Okay, let me start. This is my user, which is requesting to make my trip. I want to travel from this state from this city. So this is my user. This is my user. Fetching flight scheduling. Yes, Sentinel is saying Make My Trip. How it works? It's my Make My Trip site. Like this. MakeMyTrip.com is there. It is doing nothing but looking for the flights on which I want to travel. So user is sending what? User is sending its request. I was looking for this word, request. User is sending its request to Make My Trip with all the conditions. Conditions are what? Like as I said, I want to travel on 12th of Jan from Delhi to Mumbai like this. Right, so this is what? This is my request. User sends its request to Make My Trip, and Make My Trip was giving me what? Make My Trip was giving me 4 to 5 options or many options. Or these are what? These are the vendors. Vendor 1, vendor 1, vendor 2. So vendors are what? Which provide this service, which provide, which satisfy the conditions for my user. Like, so Make My Trip was sending its request to all the vendors which are there. Say if, here I'm just considering the example for say if we have 5 users, we have 4 to 5 users. Make My Trip will send all its requests to the all the vendors. So these are what? These are again my request. So what it was giving you in return? So what it was giving you in return? Here. It was returning you. It was returning you the various flights which are there on that date, on that date, on that from that possibility, from all the conditions which are satisfying, right? So all the vendors, out of all the vendors, say if 2 vendors, vendor 1 and vendor 3, give back what? Give back the response, right? Response will be sent it back from the vendor 3 and the vendor 1. Like, yes, we do provide the service for this state, from this city and all. Am I right? So Make My Trip will send request to all the vendors, and from all the vendors, few of the vendors send back response. Yes, we do provide service on this state like this. Am I right? So these 2 or 4 responses are here. Where it is? Here. So these all are the responses which I'm getting back. So user will do what? End user will do what? From these 2, from vendor 1 and vendor 3, it will select one of these vendors like this. So this is the web service. And how this communication is possible? Can you please tell me how this communication is possible? How this communication, with which language, with which conditions, with which format actually it is following? Hello? Any one of you? Can you please tell me? Web service, okay. Yes, web service. Bhargavi is saying it's web service, just correct. And it depends on the architecture. Yes, yes, you are giving the correct answer. Okay, so I'll come back to the same thing for which you are saying. This is my web service. It is working like this. Let's come back to Notepad and let's see what is there here. XML could be there, as one of you said. Architecture protocol will be followed. Correct. JSON could also be there. XML, if I'm saying it's XML, so it will follow SOAP, and if I'm saying JSON, it will follow REST. But the question here I'll arise: XML can only work with SOAP only, like it will work with SOAP or REST. Can you please tell me, any one of you know or not? XML works with SOAP only. Only. If I'm saying only means only SOAP, only XML can interact, SOAP can interact with the help of, yes, XML only works with SOAP, and JSON works with, or in a different language I'll say, REST can use all of, right. REST works with XML and JSON, both of the architecture, both of the format patterns which I'm going to follow, but mainly we'll work on REST with JSON like this. Is this clear? So these are the ways. So that's why I was saying I'll explain you how these all are related to my web service. This is all about the introductory part, how these all are related to each other. Clear? We'll discuss about all of these things in more detail when we'll move further. Let's come back to the topics for today. Soap and rest is covered now. Let's come to this role of SOAPUI. What is the role of SOAPUI? As one of you was asking me, is soap and SOAPUI are same? The answer is no. Here it is. SOAPUI. What is SOAPUI? How it is related to my web service and all. SOAPUI is my tool which will help me to test my web service. Understood? Which will help me to automate the testing, which will help me for automation testing. So SOAPUI is my tool. And the question for SOAP. SOAP is what? SOAP is my protocol which I'll follow to test my web service. Is this clear? SOAP and REST. SOAP is my protocol, REST is my architecture which I'll use to test, which I'll use to automate my web service, and SOAPUI is the tool on which will work actually. SOAPUI is a tool by SmartBear. This is a product by SmartBear and all. Clear? So let's talk about in more detail for the SOAPUI only. SOAPUI is used for the functional testing. This is, I'll write here. SOAPUI is used for functional testing. It's tool for functional testing. This is the product by SmartBear. This is all about the SOAPUI tool. And next, what I'll say, this is completely Java-based tool. Java-based tool means what? On the back end, Java is working, and its front end is completely based on Java, and which is Swings. On Swings, we work. For the case of my SmartBear, this is not our headache how it works and all. I'm just saying this Java-based tool. The language which is used at the SOAPUI as my tool backend is Java, and its front end is working. It's actually working on Swings, and this is a functional testing tool. Okay, so this is all about SOAPUI tool, and we'll discuss about this tool when we'll move on to the how my XML works, how my JSON I'll write, how it interacts with my web service and all. Okay, so these are very simple terms. In the layman terms, I'm discussing each and everything in a very simple terms. Clear? So the next thing is, what is the role of SOAPUI? Okay, it's covered. Now versions. There are two versions of my tool. Versions of SOAPUI. Free version, and the paid version. Oh, one more thing. This is the open source. I forgot. This is very, very important thing. This is my open source. Open source means what? Open source means what here? Open source is something in which you can help. You can help to make it better. It's like this. So this is SOAPUI, my tool is the open source. This is the open standard on which even we could help. This is very, very important thing for the SOAPUI tool. Please go through this thing. What is open source? How SOAPUI, I could say this is the product by SmartBear. These three things which are not as much required, but this is open source. This is more important. Clear? So two versions, free version and the paid version. Free version is something which is free of cost, and paid version is something which will cost you something to if you want to work on it. Okay, so free version, we'll work on free version as the question was. We'll work on free version or the paid version. I'll start with the free version, then I'll move on to the paid version. And the paid version is for the trial days. For 14 days, we have a trial period for my SOAPUI, which is generally my Ready API. Ready API is my tool for the paid versions. For the SOAPUI, Ready API is there. It's like this, Ready API. Clear? So these are the two versions, and I'll tell you how to work on each and every free version or the paid version. I'll show you. Okay, how could we download and install the SOAPUI? I'll show you. There is official website for this. It's soapui.org. This is the website. This is the official website for your SOAPUI, and from here you can download any one of the versions as. Just give me a minute. This is the download tab. From here you can download, and I'll give you one suggestion. Don't download the pro version right now. Okay, as you want the free version, we'll work on the free version for 20 lectures. So don't download the paid version right now. Okay, you can just download your NG. Its pro version is the NG. It's SOAPUI NG. It's named as SOAPUI NG. As I said, it's SOAPUI NG is something which is ready API, which is very famous like this. You will firstly download the free version from the soapui.org. You can download it. SOAPUI open source. Here you'll actually get a link for the. It is not showing me. Just a minute. I'll write here. Just give me a minute. It's download SOAPUI free version. You can download it according to your requirements only, like according to requirement of your PC, what you want and all. Yes, it is giving me the same page. You can download it, or I'll share the link with you also. I'll directly share the link with you with which you can download it. Or then you'll install. This is for the free version only. So SOAPUI 5.3 is there, which is the free version. Which is the free trial. This is not the paid version. This is the free version. The paid version I'll show you. Don't download, don't install the paid version on your PCs right now, as this is only for 14 days. The trial period is for 14 days. Okay, and even I'll show you how to download, how to install this paid version on your PC. Firstly, just download this free version, then I'll tell you how to download the paid version. Then future of web service. Okay, the last two topics are left. What is the future of web service? Today I discussed, I think, 3 to 4 example on the just on the web services, right? So it is the thing which is very important, and which is going to increase. Its demand is going to increase, right? So the future is very bright. Don't think this is not useful. As I hope you all know, what is the it is very demanding. That's why you all are here for your uh, for this web services testing, as SOAPUI is a tool which will help you to test a web service and REST-based testing. I hope these terms now you are comfortable with: REST testing, API testing, REST with JSON. Right, the future is very bright. Don't consider that. Don't think it is not important. This is very important. Okay, so the last topic is testing. So these all are the terms which are used. Software testing, API, REST, JSON, functional testing within the SOAPUI only. So these all things are same, but only I discuss about testing. So you should know what is testing, what is the meaning of testing, which we are going to do in our course. Testing is something which is a way, to find the bugs. This is nothing but to execute your program, your process, program, application. We will discuss about this application. We are already done with this. Program, application, our project, execute these things with what intention? Intentions are what? The intentions are to find bugs, to find the problems, to find the queries, like this. Okay, and then after finding the bugs, then we'll do what? Then we'll validate it. Then we'll firstly we'll verify the bugs. Then we'll validate our web service. Clear? So testing is something within which we'll execute our application, we'll execute our project with the intentions of finding the bugs, problems, the queries. This thing is what? This is the verification, and in the last we'll do validation. For the case of validation, we are not We are not actually here right now. Validations we'll do after 10 days, I'll say after 1 week, you'll comfortable with the terms of validations also. So this is all about the topics for today. Anyone, any doubt? Then I'll discuss about your doubts.